Hey y'all! With the War Within launching later today, I wanted to make a quick overview of some of the WeakAuras I've found or made for my casting Mistweaver, since I get the occasional question about that part of my UI. You might find my UI a bit cluttered, and some of my WeakAuras flashier than you want or need, but hopefully you find some of these useful, or they at least give you ideas for making your own. First, I track the remaining duration of my Soothing Mist with this progress texture here on the left. Since Peer into Peace lets us jump from target to target without having to recast Soothing Mist, you'll see that the progress appears to restart every time I switch to a new target, but the countdown, the color shift, and the rate that it runs out will always reflect how long until the original Soothing Mist ends. I also like to track the remaining duration of things like Mana Tea, Yu'lon, Innervate, Spatial Paradox, Diffuse Magic, and Fortifying Brew, with these clockwise progress textures in the center of my screen. I only enable the ones I really want to track at any given time, but it's nice to have the others ready to switch on if I want them. Now a lot of my WeakAuras have to do with renewing mist, so I'll cover those next. These void shards represent available charges, with a cooldown tracker just to the left of them. I added a little hourglass pop-up whenever a charge is gained, and a flashier effect for when Heart of the Jade Serpent is active. For those who don't know, Heart of the Jade Serpent is one of our no hero talents attached to the Conduit of the Celestials tree, and when it procs, some of our abilities cool down a lot faster, one of those abilities being Renewing Mist. I also track how many Renewing Mists I have active with this constellation of colored squares beneath my raid frames. The squares change color based on their remaining duration, and I find this useful for knowing when I'm going to get the most cooldown reduction from uplifted spirits. For Zen Pulse procs, I've got these little pop-ups to the left of the constellation, just to make sure I don't sit on a double proc without noticing. The last Renewing Mist related WeakAura I use is for Chi Harmony, a talent that applies to the first 8 seconds of Renewing Mists from hard casts or from Rapid Diffusion. I found this one on Wago, and even though the countdown isn't always accurate for Rapid Diffusion jumps, I find it very helpful. For Vivacious Vivification, I've got an icon that tracks how long until the next proc. That way I can plan a little bit better around my instant vivifies. For Shaohao's Lessons, I've got a small group of auras to track my current buff, its remaining duration, and the next buff. This assumes you know what the different buffs do by their icons, so if you don't, you might not find this one useful. Finally, this is more of a general monk aura, but if you want to track your window for using the double jump dash from Lighter Than Air, this progress bar will do that. I know a lot of these are just additional ways to see things that the in-game UI already tracks in one place or another, but I've found them incredibly helpful and a lot more pleasant to look at. In the description, I've included a link to the WeakAuras pack I use for my monk. This pack also includes several versions of some of the same WeakAuras, usually with different visual elements, so I can enable my favorites based on what colors and effects jump out best against different backgrounds. It also includes my mana bar, cooldown displays for my interrupt, stun, and CC, and a Spatial Rift progress bar similar to the one that I made for Lighter Than Air. So if you decide you want to import the entire pack, I highly recommend you delete or disable any that you don't want, and then drag and reposition the ones you do like or want to try out, so that they fit your own UI. As always, I hope this has been a useful resource, and until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.